I'm really delighted to be here in Myanmar. And sorry for late, I just opened the business forum between our two countries. There was, from history, there was major encounter between Myanmar and Mongolian people in 1283, when grandson of Kublai Khan, Ishtumur, came to the Bagan. I think that encounter was settled peacefully. Maybe today is the second major encounter between Mongolian people and Myanmar people here. In 1956, between our two countries had been established diplomatic relations. And we are really grateful to one person, to your one countryman, whose name is Otan. He was the Secretary General of the United Nations. When Mongolia became in 1961 member of the United Nations, he actually really supported Mongolia to become the member of the United Nations. And because of that, my government and my nation really grateful for that support. And since then, between our countries, there were many good relations and supporting each other in an international level. But not meeting like this. And I think why we are close to each other. I think our historical relationship makes us more close. And also our physical appearances make us more close. And also our cultural heritage make us more close. And we know that you believe in Buddhism in Buddha, and in Mongolia we believe in Buddhism in Buddha. 90% of our people worship Buddha in Mongolia. And all our cultures, actually, many of them founded on the Buddha heritage. And because of that, I think we are very close. One thing in Myanmar is very encouraging. When I met President Thein Sein, when I met the speakers of both houses, they are really interested in our experiences. In our experiences, how to reform political system, in our experiences, how to reform economic system, in our experiences, how to reform society, how to become really free and developed nation. And because of that, I think we have really great interest to each other. I was born in a herdsman family. In Mongolia, we have 50 million cattle, roughly 3 million people, 1.5 million square kilometer land. Herding is a usual experience, and born in a herdsman family is usual thing in Mongolia. I have 7 brothers, and I am the youngest. My family has 8 boys, all of them boys. And I am from very humble background. My father, mother was herdsmen. Thanks to our freedom, thanks to our free choice of my nation, I am now serving for the sake of my nation, for my nation. I am really proud of that. I had that chance to serve the free choice, by the free choice of my nation to their interest. In a cold November 1989, it's like 24 years ago, I was with my friends in the streets. In the 10th of December 1989, we had one big demonstration in Mongolia for reform, for democracy. And we issued 13 types of demands during that time, Politburo. You know, Mongolia was the second communist country. Under communism, Mongolia remained for 70 years. 70 years. and fighting against communism and gaining our real freedom was really something. I was a young person, and many of my friends were the students, many of my friends were the professors, our friends were the ordinary Mongolian people. We wanted to make that revolution to happen in Mongolia. And in the first meeting, we got around 3,000 people, and later found out that 1/3 of them, 2/3 of them actually were the undercover KGB guys. And in a second meeting, in a second demonstration, we got 5,000. In a third one, we got 10,000. In a fourth one, we got 20,000. In a fifth one, we got 50,000 people in the streets. In the last one, actually, we got more than 100,000 people in the streets. And in June 1990, we had first democratic election in Mongolia, and I was elected, one of them, to the parliament. And I became one of the drafters of our new constitution. Why Mongolian experience, democratic experience, is interesting worldwide? I think there are two reasons. First, peaceful. During our revolution, there was Soviet Union. You know, we have two big neighbors, now Russian Federation and People's Republic of China. Mongolia located between of those two giant countries. And when we began that revolution in Mongolia, Soviet Union was intact, one of the most powerful empires in the world. But during that revolution, we did not shed a single drop of blood. We did not shatter a single window glass. That was totally peaceful. No life was lost through the consensus. In our hands, we had only papers. In our hands, we had only microphones. We did not give any reason to use force against us. We did not give. If we use the stone, those in power may find a reason to get gun. If we use gun, they may found to use against us tank. Because of that, we didn't give any reason to them. We just asked to them negotiate. You know, let's be equal. My new movement, my new party want to run for election. Your party want to run election. Let's race. Mongolians are very famous with the horse races. There is never one horse racing. In a horse, there is at least to be 2 horses. Maybe 3 horses. In Mongolian case, 1,000 horses. And which one is good, the best horse, that actually gets the #1 position. And because of that, that was same thing. Let's judge our nation. And we made that consensus, and in June 1990, we had that election. Why also Mongolian experience is attractive, I think, second thing, we did it dual experience, dual transition, political, economic transition at the same time. I think Mongolia is the only country made that transition successfully in Asia. Many people say that, oh, it's not Asian way, making economic and political transition together. This is not Asian way. Many people say that. But Mongolians broke that myth. Mongolians broke that stereotype. It can happen in Mongolia. Many people say that, oh, our people are so poor, they cannot exercise their right. You know, people's right is the God-given right. People's right is the right from the birth. Every person, rich or poor, they have a right to exercise their right. They have a right to live in freedom. And we show that to the world. And because of that, Mongolian experience may be very, very attractive. And I usually say that making that dual transition in Asia impossible, that's nonsense. Challenge. I told you that about Genghis Khan. Many people maybe think that when you have democracy, when you have freedom, everything gonna be good. No, that's just opening to the reality. We are facing those problems with my nation together. Let's face this problem, this challenge together. If you give right to your people, you are facing it together. If your leadership have all the right, only your leadership are facing that. And because of that, I think freedom is never grown up like a child. You have to, every morning, you have to change the diapers. Like a parents change their babies' diapers every morning. You have to try to rid of bad things from the freedom. When you get the democracy, many people think that that's anarchy. That's unlawful things. I think freedom is the most important thing to exercise law. Rule of law, not rule of man. Rule of law, equal application of law is really important. I know there are many democracies actually failed because of the corruption, because of the bad governance. You have to think about reform your government. You know, during communist time, during socialist time, our government served power. Now we are trying to return it to serve our people's interest. Our police served for power. Now we are trying to make it to serve our people's interest. Protect not the right of the politician, not the right of your leaders. Protect right of your ordinary people. That's most important. That's most important. And you to make, in order to change that law, we are now changing. Only reforming our judiciary system, now we are making more than 30 new laws. That's really, really big job to do. Really big job. When you change your laws, you have to change your structures. When you change your structures, you have to change the mindset of those people who are serving there. That's, I think, lifetime struggle. Far behind finish in Mongolia, our democratic process. It will never finish. I think democracy is not destination. Democracy is the way of life. That's it, way of life. Freedom is destination. Freedom is way of life. That is my belief. That is my belief. And our great king, Genghis Khan, said that it was easy to conquer the world on the horseback. What was challenging? To dismount and try to govern. And now we are facing that challenge. You know, conquering the world was easy, but when you try to govern, when you try to exercise your leadership, that's the challenge. I believe in my country's future. Why? My country is an open country. I am a journalist, my background, military journalist. I was the moderator of the first big demonstration in Mongolia. I was the first editor-in-chief of the free newspaper in Mongolia called Democracy. When we won in 1996, first time in parliament, one of the first laws we actually introduced to parliament, that law was about the freedom of media freedom. And we actually banned, we prohibited no government entity, no government should not own media. Media should be owned by public or media should be owned by privately. No government has no right to control media. If you are controlling media itself, that's bad for the leaders of the country. They are not seeing the bad things. People are very smart. When you give that right to your people, people will tell you what kind of mistakes you are making. That's actually saving the leadership. That's actually correcting your leaders. I usually say that democracy is a learning process. We learn from our mistakes. Why I love freedom? Because in a freedom we can make mistakes. You know, if you in a dictatorship you make mistake, you may go to jail. Maybe some mistake may cost your life. In a freedom, It just became the lesson. It just gave one more lesson, one more moment to advance. Beauty of the freedom. You can make mistake. We all make mistake. Our media entitled to make mistake. Our people entitled to make mistake. You have to forgive that. You have to give that right to your people. But leaders, but the president of the country, not entitled to make mistake. But if I make mistake, if my country, my people forgive me, that's also lesson. That's also beauty of the freedom. You know, I hope in a hall you have microphone. If you have question, please ask me question. And it might be interesting to have some kind of exchanges between us. Not only I am delivering something from here. I know that Myanmar now very attractive country for the worldwide. You have many wise people here, many organizations here to advise you. I think we had that. But now I found out only one thing, one truth. Mongolia will be saved by Mongolian people. Mongolians will worry about Mongolian fate, not the others. I think our Buddha, our Lord Buddha said that your savior is yourself, yeah? You are your savior. You are your country's savior. If you have that right to save your country, if you have that opportunity, I think Myanmar will become one of the prosperous country in this region. I really believe that. I really believe that. I'm also a military person. I think some people may think about that military rule is not good or something. You know, don't talk about past. Now we have to focus on our future. We had a very not good past in a socialist time. We can blame each other. And because of that, we did not blame each other. We did not try to persecute. But there was some initiative. There was some beginning. But we give forgiveness. We give everyone the chance to live together. And because of that, we got that consensus. And I studied 5 years in military academy in Soviet Union. I'm officer. My education as a military helped me a lot. My upbringing as military helped me a lot. Military person is more dedicated, more disciplined. And if they serve for the sake of their country, you will be better off. They will be really good. I think you have better chance from military discipline to switch to the rule of law. From military order to switch to the rule of law. That should be equal application. I think you have great chance that. You have great chance that. I really supported those freedom fighters in Myanmar since 1990. I sometimes questioned when I met your leaders outside of your country. You know, we had at the same time in 1990 elections. In Mongolia now we have 7 times presidential election, 7 times parliamentary election, 7 times local elections. In every election, power was transferred to one political party, another political party. Not big problem. Why Burmese people not exercising that right? I questioned it. But now I'm really happy that it's really something going on, some good thing. And every leader, Myanmar leader, when they meet me, they ask, what kind of experience? You know, there are issues related with the mining, with our wealth. I would like to tell you, Mongolia is not interested in your wealth, but we are interested in sharing our experiences by heart. That's, I think, most important. We have our wealth there in Mongolia. We are trying to manage that wealth in my country. We have some big challenges there. When we talk about our wealth, we put 3 things. First, law. Any foreign investor should respect our law, domestic law. If you don't like our law, no business in my country, no business. Second issue. Second issue, our people's interest, our community interest. If you don't get along with the community where you invest in, where your factory, how you can get along with the nation, with the government? And because of that, you have to have community development plan. If our community are supporting your business, I will support. If you think that you are no president of the country, you are entitled to do business in Mongolia, you are wrong. If your business is supported by our community, our people, you are entitled to do business in Mongolia. I am just serving my nation by the will of my people. Third, you know, Mongolia has a very fragile environment. Environmental issue, environmental degradation is one of the big problems. And because of that, we put very high standard. We are trying to put very high standard. Now in Mongolia, we are trying to bring Euro standard. In Asia, there is no commonly accepted one standard. There is no. In Europe, they have. Even though socialist countries, in order to become Euro Union member, they meet that standard. And because of that, they became the member of the Euro Union. And because of that, that Euro standard can be very good thing. I think one thing to develop, I think you have to copy. Some good laws you have to copy. Some good regulations you have to copy. Some good standards you have to copy. That's it. Not try to make that wheel, you know, that wheel if round, not try to make that wheel, you know, quadrat or something like that. That will not work. But we all are special. All countries are special, and that reality should be there. I think that's a really important thing in our development. And now Mongolia trying to go further. Now we say that representative democracy has some negative things. Not all the representative, not all members of parliament working for their constituency, for their nation. When they have election, they have very good things they say, very nice things to the people. When they once elected, they sometimes think about only for themselves. They serve. Because of that, now we are switching from a representative government to the direct democracy. Many decisions should be made in a local levels. You know what kind of investment you need, what kind of project you need, what kind of tax you want to have. That should belong to our people, to local people. Locals should make decision, and those governors, those leaders in a local place, they entitled to implement that decision. That's our philosophy. We will go further. We will go really further. And 3 days ago, I announced in my country a very ambitious program called From Big Government to Smart Government. Now Mongolian government became big government, you know. 40% of our GDP now expanding our government. That's unacceptable. And because of that, we have to begin make a smaller government. And in order to become a smart government, you have to use smart people, not your friends, not your party people. There should be, you know, one requirement that is called the merit-based requirement. Merit-based requirement. And you have to use all those technologies, technological advancement. If you have that connection, your government can become much efficient. That's our goal. And because of that, every time we achieve something good, we go further, we go further. That's the way how to advance in open societies. In 2009, I became president of my country. 2011, thanks to our people's hard work, our businesses' hard work, Mongolia became the fastest growing economy in the world, 17% per year. In 2012, Mongolia became fastest decreasing country in terms of the corruption index. We were in a 120, very bad. Within 1 year, we advanced by 26 countries. We are now 94. We are really trying to rid of from corruption. I think corruption, bad governance is the bad thing to the freedom, bad thing to our people's choice. And we have to work with that. In 2013, Mongolia actually gave the chairmanship Community of Democracies. 20-some years ago, Mongolia was under dictatorship. Now think about that. 20-some years ago, now Mongolia is the leader of the democratic movement worldwide. We were the chairman of the Community of Democracies. And our friends initiated, those countries initiated education for democracy. It's very important. Now we have that resolution from the United Nations. And also zero tolerance on corruption. Also we established the Asian Network for Democracy to exchange Asian status for democracy. There are some democratic countries, there are some transition countries, and we have to exchange. We have to support each other. When we had our democracy in Mongolia, many countries supported my country. Now we feel that it's our turn to support you. One thing I would like to say to you, my friends here, please, welcome to Mongolia. Please come to Mongolia. It's not good one-time hearing. It's good one-time go there to see. Mongolians say it's better than to see once than hearing 100 times. Please come to Mongolia. It's easy, now easy. We can buy our airplane only 6 hours flight. When you go to Mongolia, if there happens something to say, your president actually invited me, say that, okay? You have a presidential invitation. And to go to Mongolia, we need exchange, our professors, our students. I think there are a number of areas we can cooperate. Tourism, exchange of the people. Number one, this one. Maybe number two, cultural exchanges. You have great cultural heritage. We have great cultural heritage. We can exchange that. We can support each other. We have, for that purpose, we have established International Cooperation Fund. And we really want to see you, your performers, your people in my country, to exchange our ideas. Please see those challenges, how we are failing, how we are succeeding. Please see. One thing is maybe good when you go to Mongolia, you will see what kind of mistakes you can avoid, you know, not the successes to see, what kind of mistakes you cannot make. That's maybe a good thing to go to Mongolia now. And also we have one initiative called Mongolia Myanmar Initiative, M2 Initiative. There are not many countries beginning from the M in the world. And because we are trying to identify those two M2 Initiative for education reform, M2 Initiative for civil service reform, M2 Initiative for judicial reform, M2 Initiative for mining reform. Let's work together. Let's launch that initiative in our region. You know, in Mongolia, when I talk, president, when I go to town hall to students, usually they disrupt my speech. And also in Myanmar, I think there are three things we have to really, world should help Myanmar with the national unity. I think that's a really important issue in Myanmar. And also you are discussing the change, making change in your constitution. This is really, really important issue. From our experience, we made some changes in 1990 in our constitution. By that constitution, we had a transitional parliament. That was really good. And after that, during that time, that transitional parliament drafted new constitution, totally new constitution. And that transitional government brought that draft to the people, to the nation, and we discussed, and we had a two-chamber parliament there. And that parliament discussed it, and they adopted it. After that, that transition government, parliament, went away. That time finished. In June 1992, we had our second election. In June 1990, we had our first election. I think that might be an interesting experience. Now, you guys talking about what kind of changes to make in your constitution. I think those changes should open very wide door to the country's transformation. I have some questions. So far, I have 3 why in your country. I heard about 25% quota in parliament, military quota. I ask it why. Why military should have that? All should have that equal right. All should have that equal right. If you guys believe in yourself, why you should have that automatic 25% quota? That should not be. That should not be. By the people's choice, even you are having what kind of ideology, what kind of idea, if you are supported by your constituency, you are legal. When you put people by the nominating, by some power, that considered, I think, internationally illegal. Also, I have one why. There are, I heard, some politicians are still in prison. Why those people are in prison? If we are opening, if we are going to the true democratic process in this country, I think those people should be released. And other thing, why there is media control. If you are not going to hide your shadow, why you are controlling the media? Those 3 why can be solved very easily, very easily. Only you have to have political will. In Mongolia, why we succeeded? When we were in the streets, in a power, there were the communist government. There were the good people for the country's fate. They thought, I think, they thought about their legacy. They saw that this opening, this freedom is the worldwide movement. And because of that, I have to support that. My children, my grandchildren, one day will tell to their children, oh, my grandfather was very wise. During that time, he was one of the decision makers. He actually gave that green light to my country. He actually initiated that consensus. I think you have to think about your legacy. No dictatorship, no president, no man ever last in a power. There is time. But will to live in a freedom, that's the lasting thing. I think God has planted in every heart desire to live free. I think that sense will rise again and again. I hope in the world there will be, every nation will be free, every man will be free, every individual will be free. I think we will see that time, maybe in coming future. That's my dream. You know, Mongolians actually exerted some nations to build big walls. Now Mongolians trying to help to tear down those political walls, those walls who separating each other, our people. And because of that, I'm really interested to help you to work together. And I see that genuine interest from your government, from your people. You have that genuine interest, and that's really good. I think no authoritarian government, no military government can stand against the collective will of the people to be free. No government will stand. And because of that, you guys preparing for that, you guys having your parliament, you guys having your committee, I think you are really wise. You are really doing good thing. Only Mongolia, my nation, myself, have only one thing to help you. I usually say that to the world. Now it's the time to help Burmese people, Myanmar, to make the change. We waited maybe together for some 20 years. Now it's time to rally behind Burmese people. Now those international organizations, countries should lift all those sanctions on Burma. I think that should happen. Now Now you have maybe only 2 months, maybe 1 month, you know, in the parliament. Those changes in the constitution will be discussed in a nationwide. Because of that, now we have to encourage. Now we have to give confidence in your leaders, in your people. Why I am talking about today these things here? Usually universities are the big power. They have that mindset, they have that knowledge to support, to lead their country. I think your students, your professors have that knowledge to lead Myanmar to the right direction. And I think if we listen to your voice, I think we will succeed. And because of that, I'm really happy to speak today in front of you those ideas, those things which I believe. And because of that, I'm saying that not later, not tomorrow, not later, but now you have to support Myanmar. You have to support people in your country. I think world will be very good if one country became really democratic, really free, really advanced, really prosperous country. Humanity will be better off. That's my message. Thank you very much.